Hi guys, my name is Fadecooks. This is my first recipe video and I am coming to you guys here with this really nice pot of stew. Let me tell you guys, it is amazing. If you want to see how I made it, please continue to watch. So we're going to go ahead and boil the meat. So here's some onion. We need the egg for later on, so keep that aside. And here's the fish that I use as well, so keep that aside as well. So the thyme is needed, the Maggi cubes, they're needed, the jumbo seasoning is what I have here, and then some salt. Okay, so I'm going to boil the meat like I said. So you add 2 teaspoons of salt to this portion of meat. Especially, I don't add any more salt for the rest of this recipe, so it's up to yourself again what works for you. Here is some jumbo seasoning, and I added another 2 teaspoons as well of jumbo seasoning. Now, like I said, it's only for this portion of meat that I'm going to be boiling. And then next I'm going to add some thyme. I added another 2 teaspoons of thyme as well for this portion of meat. And finally I will be putting the Maggi. Now here at this point you're on your own, because you need to let the spirits judge, let them guide you to the amount of Maggi you're going to use. So next thing, I will be adding the onion. Now I like a lot of onion. People prefer not to put a lot of onion, but I put all of the onion there, and then I'm going to stir it all together. Okay, so I'm stirring here with this plastic spoon, only because I don't like metal spoon for non-stick on pots. It will just scratch the pot and it doesn't do the job anymore, so that's why I'm trying to avoid that by using the plastic spoon. I'm stirring it all together, and I don't add any water as well, because the meat it would actually produce some water. So go ahead and close the pot, or rather cover the pot, and let it cook for a little while. So I'm just going to open up the pot again here now to check how that is going. You would already see that water has doubled, so you see it does produce some water of its own. So make sure you just stir everything around. Shaki, I like to make sure it's at the bottom, because shaki takes longer, it's very tender, so just let everything boil, keep stirring to double check. Next thing we're going to do now is prepare our pepper. Okay, so we're going to blend the pepper. So I have jumbo pepper here, and then I have rodo and onion. Okay, so next we're going to blend this. Now I don't want it to be too smooth, and I don't want it to be too thick either, so the only way that will work for me here is that texture of, I don't know how to describe it. It will just need to be, it needs to have a bit of texture. Okay, so that's all you need to do here. So I'm trying to tear in the pepper a little bit, just so it would fit into the blender. And then also some blenders don't take really big peppers, so just trying to make it work for your blender. So here is the texture I was talking about. It has been blended. I didn't add so much water, so be mindful of that. So I like to boil my pepper before I start to fry the stew, so I just added the pepper to the pot and I let it boil. Okay, so you're gonna keep stirring, checking this gradually every few minutes, maybe for like 20 minutes, so the water will dry up. Like I said, the only water that's in this is the one I blended it with initially. So here I am just checking again. You'd already see that it has got smaller, so the water is reducing. So put that aside, and once it has dried up, so I'm just showing you the meat again there, that's just been fried, and the fish and the seasoning that I will be adding to this stew, and then the meat broth that you're going to save from after boiling them, and then the egg. Okay, so this is everything that's going into my stew. Now the first step is to fry your red oil. Okay, now I like to fry my red oil for about 5 to 10 minutes, and because I have an alarm in my house, so it is so ridiculous that even 2 minutes in, the alarm is going off. So I found a method of just covering the pot with the lid, so the smoke would stay inside the pot. And once that is ready, I just make sure to leave it, I turn off the hob for a few minutes and let it cool off before I start cooking again. All right, so this method really just keeps the air in and reduces the noise that alarm makes. So this is just the oil frying it there, gradually, and then I'm going to cover the pot now, and then I'm going to let it just fry. Okay, and then once I check again, it should be clear, and once that clear, like this color is showing, it's very clear, you're able to then start cooking your stew. Okay, so I'm just adding the pepper that I blended and boiled earlier on. You can see it still has that texture there, ready to go for this stew. And yeah, so it's all added in there, and then I'm gonna let it just cook by itself for a few minutes before I start adding any seasoning at all. Okay, so just add the pepper and stir it and give a few minutes to boil together. I don't know, you don't really necessarily have to leave it like this, but this is just what I like to do. Most people like to just add the seasoning immediately and let it all cook, but I want the oil and the pepper to just kind of mix together for a few minutes, and then I will go ahead and then add the seasoning later. So but first thing, I'm adding the broth. Okay, the boiled meat broth there, go ahead and add it. So when I don't add too much in order not for it not to be too watery. Okay, your sauce shouldn't be too watery either, so it just changes the textured feeling you want. So add the seasoning at this stage. Okay, so there is me adding the thyme. You can skip that, you don't have to. You can go ahead and add the jumbo, and then everything else that you want to add to your stew really. So the salt, the Maggi, everything that I showed you earlier, go ahead and add it onto the sauce at this point. All right, and this is the remaining Maggi that I showed you earlier as well. Like I said, it's just be inspired and let the gods of Maggi to just guide you to the amount you need, but always make sure to taste anyway to know how you're getting on. That's why I avoid adding salt, because salt will just ruin the stew you're making if you add too much. So the first time I've added salt is enough, and here at this point Maggi would be the only thing I would add if I need to. Okay, so that's how I do my stew cooking, and then I add a bit of onion because like I said already, I do love me some onion. Okay, so at any stage that I need to add onion, I'm gonna keep adding it, but you don't really have to add too much onion. Like I said, this is my own preference. This is my own method. Okay, so cover the pot with the lid and let it cook for a few minutes. All right, so we're gonna check the stew now to see how it's looking, and we're going to add all of the meat at this point. All right, so you see there it's frying and cooking all well. I first added the fish, the dry fish. It's nice and washed, left to sit there for a little while, so it's ready to go into the stew. And then next thing, you're going to add the meat, the shaki. I added meat, I added shaki, I added fuku. This is all my favorite type of things to cook with, and here it is, all air fried and dry enough. Now I like it really dry because it's going to go into the stew and get a little bit softer anyway, so in order for it not to be too soft and soggy, so that's why I like it dry. And then the egg is added there as well, so I'm going to be stirring it now. Of course, be very careful and don't add too much as well, in order for you not to have more meat than the sauce. So go ahead and be careful as you're stirring it together. All right, and then really at this point your stew is more or less ready, but it's really good to have the egg soak and into the sauce as well, so that's why I added it at this stage. So let it cook and let the sauce, well, the sauce should soak into the egg rather, should I be saying. So let it all cook together, give it time, maybe 10 minutes should be okay, and you're good to go. So I'm just closing the lid there now to let it cook, and then I am going to check it for the last time. And at this point you're really going to see that it is ready. You can check for taste, and you'd see that everything is cooking well together. Be careful not to break the eggs. This egg really annoyed me when I was cooking this, because one of those eggs where you're opening it and it's just breaking into the shell. So I was trying to avoid not to even break it even more as I'm stirring. So but at this point the stew is ready. We're ready to serve with some rice and beans. Yes, that's what I'm eating my stew with. Okay, so here is my rice and beans as I'm showing you, and here is the final result, guys. So this is my first recipe, guys, video. So let me know how I did. Please like, comment and share if you don't mind, and if you're trying this, let me know how you get on as well. I like to see in the comment section. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.